Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Tech Lockdown Daily Webcast, where we will be discussing technology that will help us all during the lockdown period and beyond. My name is Zul, and I'll be your moderator for today. Today, in this episode of our webcast, we have Albert Chai, the Manager Director for Cisco Malaysia, and Paul Pettersson, the Head of Collaboration of Cisco ASEAN, as they will talk about the range of productivity tools that are available for companies, especially small and medium enterprises, and how they are more relevant than ever amid the movement control order and other similar restrictions. With that being said, Said, over to you.
Thanks, Zul. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of our Tech Lockdown. Today, we have with us two more guests from Cisco, but this time we'll be changing gears a bit and discuss about the changing work culture that's happening all over the world right now. So first of all, I would like to thank both Albert and Peter for joining us today. Albert and Paul, sorry, for joining us today. And I'll start by asking how the extended lockdown periods have affected Cisco employees themselves, especially now that they have to telecommute for such a prolonged period. Maybe we'll start with Albert, who can give his views from a Malaysian perspective, and then Paul from the regional ASEAN perspective as a whole.
Hey, hi,
Albert?
Said. Hi, Zul. Good afternoon. Thank you for having us here. Of course, I'm very delighted to be here with you. And I have Paul, my colleague, the handsome Paul, which obviously the video is not so you all can see him. But nevertheless, thank you again for having us here. We are very fortunate, Said, to have in place in Cisco Malaysia for flexible working practices for many years now. In fact, in Malaysia, every one of us is a mobile worker. Right? As a matter of fact, we can work anywhere and anytime on any devices. And we're very fortunate. For us, work is what we do and not a place that we go to, like an office or a manufacturing plant every day. However, it's actually very important that flexible work practices are actually supported, right, by a culture of trust and a culture of empowerment, right? So these will not only enable our employees to get work done, but also allow them to build a career with Cisco. For Cisco, we had a case of COVID-19 a couple of weeks before the MCO was announced. So we actually had to work from home a couple of weeks earlier. So midway, we came to realize that this prolonged work from home actually is stressful and lonely for some of us. And for myself, I find it fairly depressing. And I'm sure that experience is similar to what you face in this webinar, right? So what we did to support our colleagues with their emotional health is that we took advantage of our own technology, right, to organize lots of fun activities, right? So every 2 weeks, we kind of hang out virtually with games, performance, and we have some colleagues sharing, right, what they do during this MCO to keep themselves connected, right? So they learn cooking, they share some, gym classes with the rest of the colleagues. And all these made possible, of course, using Cisco technology like Webex. Yeah, so we're extremely proud that we are working really well during this MCO.
So maybe I can give a little bit of a different perspective, as we are in the same company, but obviously I'm based in Singapore, and I have a regional team across Southeast Asia. So if you think about my normal work practice, and as Albert mentioned, we have a policy of flexible working or remote working that is sort of part of the core of Cisco. And actually over 60% of the managers or the people in Cisco, the employee base, have some manager that is positioned or located in another location, and many of us is actually in different countries. So if I look at my personal team, so I have team members then across all Southeast Asian countries. So my normal is to have a combination of being at the office physically, but also from home, and managing that organization over video and virtual technology all the time. So it hasn't really made a big impact on the way I working. And as Albert mentioned, we also had some early actions from Cisco. We already in the early part of March, before any of the lockdowns happened, we introduced here in Singapore what we call split working practice. So we divided a team up in sort of an A and B team, and then we were allowed to go into the office if needed when was needed. Otherwise, we work from home. Obviously, this is enabled because we had the policies in place, and as Albert mentioned, also the technology in place. So.
Okay, it's great to know that the transition has gone very smoothly for Cisco. But in your view, Albert, why were so many companies caught off guard when the MCO was called? What went wrong there?
Yeah, so COVID-19 is a global pandemic that caught the world by storm, right? It's obviously unprecedented situation that we are seeing that no government can truly prepare for. While it's difficult, the MCO put in place by the Malaysian government is to keep our citizens safe and healthy, right? I think what is key is how we manage response to this MCO, right? So let me share with you some personal experience, right? After having stay at home for almost 7-8 weeks in my own little home, right? So I used to have this favorite laksa store, right? Which I typically go every weekend, and I try to actually order online, or at least I call the owner of the laksa store, and they refuse to adapt and obviously use delivery services during this MCO time. So what happened is that we start ordering from another hawker store, right? In this case, Thai noodle soup, and the fact that they can deliver, they can send to you promptly when you order. Well, actually saw their business increase by four during the MCO, right? So I guess the same can be said of all businesses that we have in Malaysia, right? It's about adapting, it's about innovating our business processes, right? And change the work practices or change how work get done for all of us. In fact, I find Malaysia to be very fortunate, right? That government is actively providing assistance and support, right, to ease the burden of this, almost 1 million businesses, including 900,000 SMEs in the country, right, through these Prihatin packages, right. So we hope businesses will take up this program, right? Take the opportunity to innovate, right, their business model, and of course, from a technology leader like Cisco, right, do invest, right, this support from the government to, right, technology that can help them digitize their business, right? So this bit of a perspective from me, side.
I think if you look at from Cisco's perspective and how we position collaboration tools, this has been part of the workplace transformation or the future of work, which is typically many times has been driven by a cost saving exercise or moving to an agile organization. Obviously, in this scenario, the business continuity plan becomes very, very immediate. So I think if you look at it from that perspective, this is the same conversation that we have done, because we want to create a work environment where you are able to be productive regardless of your personal needs and requirements. So currently we have 4 different generations going through the sort of the workforce with a different type of work styles, with different needs. And for us, I think to provide our employees with a workplace that performs in all these different environments. Obviously, this comes very, very handy now when everybody get called on working from home. So that's obviously a benefit for us. And hopefully, I also believe that many organizations will look at this now when we go through prolonged time, actually experience this environment where we cannot go into the office. It sort of changes the dynamics of how you look at the physical office.